I'm in Godmanchester, and I'm with Graham Campbell of the Great Ouse Valley Trust. Hello.
Hi.
And we're standing in front of a board, an information board, and you had something to do with this.
Well, the Ouse Valley Way passes right through our town, and the Ouse Valley Trust decided some time ago that information boards were probably something we should really invest in. And fortunately, with the County Council and a grant from the A14 Trust as well, we were able to produce these 13 information boards along the route. And they just cover the route, tell you some circular routes on it as well. And it's proved to be really quite successful.
Yeah, so we saw our first one in Eton Soken, and before that, we really had to rely on our own resources to work out where we were and what was around us. Whereas from here on and all the way to Erith, we can now see something about where we are. So how did all this come about?
Well, in actual fact, goes back some years, say sort of 25 years ago, when the District Council were very much instrumental in getting the Ouse Valley Way designated as a long-distance footpath. And it's been very popular, and it's very central to the whole Ouse Valley, that it's become a real sort of tourist feature. But the original boards were getting very tired and old, so we were able to develop these new boards with more information, and using Coral Designs, of great graphic designers. I think they look terrific. So a little bit of information locally, each board gives for whichever town or village we're in, but also shows the map of the Ouse Valley Way, but plus a circular walk. So if you arrive at one of these boards, you don't have to walk from A to B and then try and find your way back. You can actually do a circular walk, which makes it much more accessible for families and groups.
And the paths need keeping clear.
The path needs keeping clear, and that's been an issue for us for the last few years. It is a county council responsibility, but obviously funding's been very restricted in recent years, and there's hundreds and hundreds of miles of footpath for them to keep clear. So there has been times when the footpath has been really difficult to get through, brambles and stinging nettles and teasels and so on. So we've had volunteers out over the years. We've tried to get parishes to help, but fundamentally it is a county council issue. So we now have a Ouse Valley Way management group where all the parishes are involved, and the Great Ouse Valley Trust and the County Council. And between us, with the County Council contractors and volunteers, we have been able the last few years to keep the path clear right the way through, at least through Huntingdonshire. I don't know the rest of the path is clear, but certainly in our patch it's pretty good.
Yeah, and recently you had a marathon.
Yes, every year now there's a marathon. It's fortunate, or by accident really, that the Ouse Valley Way through Huntingdonshire is precisely 26 miles long. And as you know, the marathon is just a little bit over 26 miles. So it's worked absolutely wonderfully. And people come from all over the country to run the marathon. And people say it's just one of the best rural marathons you can run. The landscape's fantastic. So we have that. That's been running for a number of years. It did stop during COVID, but it's back running now every September.
But it was touch and go this year.
Well, this year we got to near the day, and there was still a lot of obstruction. And obviously, running on a footpath is much more critical than walking. If you're moving at speed, if there's an obstruction, it can be quite dangerous. And there are huge health and safety issues and risk assessments that have to be done. Even have to have helicopter landing places in case there's an injury. And we got quite close to the event, and in the end we begged for volunteers, and we did have a big crowd of volunteers from Stansted Airport of all places who came out with us and did a lot of clearance the week before the event, and in the end the event, as I said, was a great success.
And just in case you're wondering, those bells, that's St Mary's Church, which is open it's usually open in the daytime, isn't it?
It's one of those few churches that is open nearly all the time. I can't guarantee it's all the time, but for most of the time it is open. It is a fantastic church. It's a very large church, really, for the size of the town. Although, having said that, now Godmanchester is expanding so rapidly. I think we're nearly up to about 8,000 people. This is one of the factors, really, that we always accept that this area is becoming more urbanised. It's an area of great residential growth, and this is why we feel the landscape along the river is so precious. It's going to be so beneficial to more and more people. And that's why we have to be very conscious of keeping it and improving it, making it accessible for everybody.
So in order to raise awareness of the path, you run a WOW Day.
Yes, this is the first one we did this July. A WOW Day, it's a bit of a corny thing, isn't it? Walk the Ouse Valley Way Day, but it's obviously grabs people's attention. We just thought, as well as the marathon, why don't we just get as many people out walking it as possible? We get people the challenge perhaps of walking 26 miles, the whole thing, or perhaps walking half of it, or maybe just walking a couple of miles, get families out. And we thought the idea really was if we gave everyone a T-shirt with WOW on the front, people would get very excited and they would come along. So we were fortunate to get sponsorship for the T-shirts from the District Council, always supportive, Huntingdonshire District Council, and Bloor Homes, who have plans for doing some rewilding along the river. So we had these T-shirts and we had a really good turnout. Unfortunately, it was almost the only day in the summer when we had a lot of rain. But lots of families walked the whole 26 miles, which I thought was unbelievable. And next year, we've already got the date fixed for July the 12th, and that's going to be a much bigger, better event than the one we had this year.
But as well as keeping the footpath clear, raising awareness of it, getting people to use it, that's not the only thing the Valley Trust does.
Well, we kicked off in 2018. Well, I think we're all aware of the value of the landscape, but we weren't quite sure how to do it. So we had a big conference. We invited everyone we could think of, all the parishes, our MP, councillors, RSPB, Wildlife Trust. And we had a conference that day, and it was so well supported. Everyone was so enthusiastic. From that day, we formed the charity, the Great Ouse Valley Trust. That's 2018. And since then, we've involved in many, many different things. One of the things is testing the water in the river, because obviously lots of people do wild swimming, but apart from that, it's important that we keep monitoring the water. So that's been one of our activities. But we've also been, our three things is to promote the Ouse Valley Way, to protect it, and enhance it. So enhancing has been one of our big issues. We've done a lot of tree planting, meadow restoration, working with lots of other groups and landowners, and many other things. We've got a great set of trustees that are active on all these issues. And I can show you our community wood we planted about 4 years ago now.
Well, let's go and have a look at it. So where are we now?
Well, we're just by the cricket ground, but actually on the route of the Ouse Valley Way. And we're just looking at our community wood, which we actually planted about 3 years ago. And it's now beginning to look just about the beginning of a proper wood. Because we planted tiny little saplings, they're tiny whips from the Woodland Trust. So this whole wood has actually cost nothing apart from the volunteer labour. Woodland Trust provided thousands of tiny trees, and I should think probably only about 30% have actually survived to this point, in spite of all our efforts. But it's going to be enough to be another 20 years. It will be a fine piece of woodland here, I think.
Yeah. So we're actually by a busy road. It's the sort of thing which might have in the past been considered, it's just a bit of scrub. And you mentioned the council actually used to just trim it down.
Yes, this is District Council owned this. Is next to the cricket ground. It was just a piece of grass that wasn't doing anything. And we approached the District Council. Well, seems to be a place where we ought to be doing something and planting woodland. We need more woodland, especially in the Ouse Valley, which is Cambridge is the least wooded county. And the thing that came out of one of our workshops at the Ouse Valley Trust was this desire to see more tree cover in this area. So we thought this was a great opportunity. So District Council, we approached them, and they said, yeah, fine, go ahead. This is a brilliant idea. So once we got going, we got other groups to come and help us plant, particularly the local school. It became a really good thing that the whole year 6 at the school came out, and it was a fun day of planting these tiny trees. And they're all native trees from Woodland Trust. And I said the fact that it actually has cost us nothing, we find that's quite remarkable to see this growing now with birches and oak trees. It's beginning to look really good for wildlife as well.
Yeah. So some of the trees have really found their footing, haven't they? And they're taking off, and others are, well, they're struggling a little bit, but still looking okay.
Well, don't forget, I mean, I said this last few years, climate change, we've had 2 of the summers over the last 4 years have been absolutely baking hot, and springs as well. So the fact that so many have survived severe drought conditions has surprised us. We've done everything right. We've mulched. We had another party of school children out mulching, which was almost more fun than planting the trees, because kids love to just bury themselves in piles and piles of mulch. And seeing worms and stuff. It was such a fun day. And we tried to water it as well, but when you've got a full acre of ground, the watering becomes a token gesture. Really, it's just that the toughest trees have survived now. We see birches, we see Scots pines have done very well, and the oak trees, funnily enough, have done very well. So, I'm beginning to feel if everyone who planted the trees comes back in 10 years' time, if I'm still around, we'll have a party and celebrate.
So it looks like we want to see a lot more of these small woodlands wherever we have a spare bit of space.
I think so, because obviously, especially Cambridgeshire is such an intensively farmed area, prairie farming, which is great. We need food production. But where we can plant woodland, I think it's so important. This generation does its best, because even as we plant woodland, we know that more woodland is disappearing. New roads, I mean, the A14 number of trees, the new A14 was built sort of 4 years ago. Number of trees we lost there was huge, and although they've supposed to be planted, have planted many more than they took out, we all know that's been a bit of a disaster. And one of the things we've campaigned for is to make sure that national highways do go back and replant all the supposedly nearly 1 million trees that died in that first very dry, hot summer.
So you are a charity and you are run by volunteers, and you've carried out this work here. You've also done all the signage and the clearing and organising. It's not just the putting signs on the Great Ouse, the Ouse Valley Way, but you've also gone to some extent to make sure, just keep it clear, just keep it used. It all seems to be volunteer-led.
It is, but I mean, we've got 9 trustees, and I have to say they're not the sort of trustees that sit back and turn up to a meeting every month. They're all out there doing things, monitoring the water, planting trees, organising events, education of local schools and so on. Very, very active group of people. At the moment, we still haven't got any paid staff. I think that may change, because we have recently gone in with the Huntingdonshire District Council to produce a business plan to form a designated landscape for the Great Ouse Valley through Huntingdonshire and Cambridgeshire. And if that's successful, we get the full support of the local authorities, then we will start to employ managers and directors and start to do even more work than we're doing at the moment. But as I say, to be honest, I'm gobsmacked at how much time and effort our trustees do put into this, and the achievements of the last sort of 7 years. It's quite amazing, really.
That all sounds pretty good. So how do we find out more about you?
Well, there's a Great Ouse Valley Trust website. There's a Facebook page as well, and if you just keep your eye out in the local newspapers, and you'll see what we're doing. But we are a partner membership organisation, so although we have individual supporters, our main members are groups and parishes. So parish councils, town councils have joined, and the Wildlife Trust and RSPB, and local volunteer groups, Rotary clubs. All of them help and volunteer. So it's a fantastic organisation.
Okay. Well, I'll leave a link so we can check out your organisation. So thank you very much.
Thank you.